Hello friends, welcome back to the Factories, the company of fact. In this part 2 of World War II, we are going to see the turning point of the war 1942 to 1943. For nearly 3 years, Adolf Hitler's army seamlessly unstoppable. Country after country had fallen: Poland, France, Norway, Belgium, and the Netherlands. Large part of Soviet Union, even North Africa under Axis control. To many people around the world, it seemed Germany might actually win the war, but history was about to change. The year was 1942. Two battles, one fought in the frozen ruins of Soviet city and another across the burning deserts of North Africa, would completely change the course of World War II. These battles marked the beginning of end of Nazi Germany. Chapter number 1: The Battle of Stalingrad. In summer of 1942, Hitler launched the massive offensive toward southern Russia. His objective was clear: capture the oil fields of the Caucasus, which were vital for the German military, and seized the city of Stalingrad on the Volga River. Although Stalingrad had strategic importance, it also carried symbolic value because it was named after Soviet leader Joseph Stalin. Hitler believed capturing the city would deal the devastating blow of Soviet morale. German forces reached the outskirts of Stalingrad in August 1942. The Luftwaffe launched the relentless bombing raids, reducing much of the city to rubble. Ironically, those raids made it harder for German troops to advance. Collapsed buildings, factories, and shuttered streets became ideal defensive positions for Soviet soldiers. The battle soon turned into a brutal house-to-house combat. Every building became a battlefield. Every staircase was contested. Soldiers fought over single rooms, always and even individually followers. One famous grain elevator became the symbol of Soviet resistance. A small group of defenders held out against repeated German attacks for days. Despite being surrounded, the fighting was so intense that some soldiers described it was a war of rats, where survival depended on who could hide, react, and endure the longest. As winter approached, conditions became even more devastating. Temperatures dropped far below freezing. Food was scarcer. Medical supplies ran out. Thousands died not only from bullets and bombs but also from hunger, disease, and a bitter cold. Then in November 1942, the Soviet Union launched Operation Uranus. Instead of attacking the strongest German positions, Soviet forces struck the weaker Romanian and Hungarian units guarding the flanks. Within a day, the Red Army had surrounded the German Sixth Army. More than 250,000 Axis troops were trapped inside Stalingrad. Hitler ordered them to hold their position and promised that supplies would be delivered by air. But the Luftwaffe could be not delivered enough food, ammunition, or fuels. Inside the city, starvation became widespread. Many soldiers survived on frozen horse meat or the tiny portion of bread. In January 1943, the trapped German army was exhausted. On February 2, 1943, the remaining German forces surrendered. It was one of the greatest defeats in German military history. The myth of invisible Wehrmacht had been shattered. From the moment onward, Germany would spend the rest of war largely fighting on the defensive in East. Chapter number 2: The War in North Africa. While the battle raged in Stalingrad, another crucial campaign was unfolding thousands of kilometers away across the vast deserts of North Africa. British and Axis forces were fighting for the control of Egypt, Libya, and the Suez Canal. The campaign featured one of the Germany's most respected commanders, Field Marshal Erwin Rommel, known as the Desert Fox. Rommel became famous for his bold tactics and rapid armored assaults. Time and again, his forces outmaneuvered the Allies despite having a fewer resources. But by late 1942, the balance began to shift. The British army under the General Bernard Montgomery prepared a major offensive near El Alamein in Egypt. On October 23, 1942, thousands of artillery guns opened fire. The desert shock under one of the largest bombardment of campaign. After nearly 2 weeks of intense fighting, the Axis lines finally collapsed. Rommel was forced into a long retreat across Libya. Only days later, on November 8, 1942, American and British forces launched the Operation Torch, landing in Morocco and Algeria. For the first time, Axis forces in North Africa faced the major Allied armies from both East and West. Caught between a Montgomery advance and a new Allied landing, German and Italian forces gradually lost control of region. In May 1943, nearly a quarter of a million Axis soldiers surrendered in Tunisia. North Africa was now in Allied hands. The Mediterranean Sea became far safer for Allied shipping, and the victory opened the door of invasion of Sicily and mainland Italy. For Hitler, another front had begun to collapse. The Axis powers were no longer expanding. They were retreating, and for the first time since the war had begun, victory seemed possible for the Allies. But the war was far from over. The Allies now faced an even greater challenge, invading Nazi-occupied Europe itself. In next chapter, we will witness the fall of Mussolini and the largest amphibious invasion in history, and the beginning of Hitler's final defeat. Thanks for watching. Do subscribe channel. See you in next video.